Monitoring today's domestic network infrastructure to properly identify network traffic that may potentially threaten national security is a tough task, especially so in today's distributed and decentralized wireless networking models. The advent of widespread usage of wireless networking, aka Wi-Fi, and affordable broadband has fostered the growth of free and/or public internet access. With this, it has also provided a certain amount of anonymity for those who use these networks. This can easily be used for malicious and malevolent intent that may compromise national security or pose a threat to it. The decentralized and autonomous nature of terrorist organizations thrive upon this network topology, making means of communication and coordination readily available that may have adverse effects upon our nation and our community's collective well-beings. In order to be effective in the current computer network climate and to effectively combat an invisible and decentralized foe, the Department of Homeland Security has realized that it must make use of decentralized tactics in order to protect our nation's freedoms. The Neighborhood Network Watch is the Department of Homeland Security's first step to address this growing security risk. The Neighborhood Network Watch, or NNW, is a community-based volunteer organization that will go into the community to collect and analyze network traffic from wireless networks. This traffic is collected using tools such as TCP dump and are stored to be analyzed later by a Java application that searches the contents of the captured traffic for keywords. The list of keywords is based off the Echelon word list that was used by the joint US-UK intelligence gathering program of the same name. However, it has been updated to deal with the current pressing threats from around the world. After the analysis of the data collected is complete, the network and area surrounding it is given a rating, likened to the Homeland Security Advisory System. In fact, it uses the same color codes in order to maintain consistency and to be readily identified by the public. The formation of such a group was first proposed in June of 2003 by the former Secretary of Homeland Security, Tom Ridge. Due to infrastructure organization being the primary concern to the department at that time, the program unfortunately was left by the wayside. However, the idea was brought back to the table by current Secretary of Homeland Security, Michael Chertoff. The NNW is modeled on the age-old neighborhood watch programs that began in the 1960s and have continued to the present. These programs had the goal of being the eyes and ears for law enforcement to reduce crime and protect the citizens of the community. We believe that it is imperative for citizens to take an active role in safeguarding their communities against terrorism. Not only does it help to deter and protect their respective communities against the specter of terrorism, it also helps to safeguard our nation and our world. The first chapter of the Neighborhood Network Watch was established in March 2007 in New York City, the birthplace of the original Neighborhood Watch groups. Operations began in mid-April and the first preliminary results are already available. The group took a look at 10 networks in the East Village, Greenwich Village, and Soho areas. Here you can see a map of the locations. Number 1 is Think Coffee. Number 2 is The Coffee Chamber. Number 3 is the Bowery Poetry Club. Number 4 is the Soho Apple Store. Number 5 is the Starbucks location at Astor Place. Number 6 is Union Square Park. Number 7 is Net Cafe. Number 8 is Rapture Coffee. Number 9 is Cafe Pick Me Up. And number 10 is the Tompkins Square Public Library. Now for the results. As you can see by the color codes that have been assigned to the different locations, we are able to make specific evaluations as opposed to the large blanket assessments that the current Homeland Security Advisory System does. We are able to quite easily see that the locations within the East Village are of specific note and need to be investigated more thoroughly, due to the network advisories issued for that area being predominantly high, or also known as an orange advisory, as well as Think Coffee being in potential danger of becoming a hotbed for dangerous network activity, as it is surrounded by areas with elevated yellow advisories to the northeast and southwest. Also of concern is the areas in the center between the Greenwich Village, Washington Square Park areas to the East Village. We are afraid more threatening traffic is occurring along this latitude, and can now direct our efforts into this region. As you can see, we have a more defined and educated vantage of the areas that may contain threats to national security. From here, the NNW would notify local law enforcement and the Department of Homeland Security. The information will be reassessed and then potentially distribute it to the establishments and the community. This then allows the privately owned establishments to work in conjunction with law enforcement and the DHS, as well as making the public more informed about the potential dangers of places they frequent. The only way to effectively engage terrorism is to mirror its tactics and to start at the community level. From there, the larger picture can be established more concretely. Groups like the NNW engage the public and the citizens of the community. It makes them active, engaged, and informed. It also strengthens communities. A strong community means a strong nation. That is why the Department of Homeland Security has begun the Neighborhood Network Watch program, to foster the development of stronger communities with actively engaged populations engaged in the national and global fight against terrorism. This has been a presentation of the Department of Homeland Security. Thank you. You can find out more about the Neighborhood Network Watch program if you go to the Department of Homeland Security's website, dhs.gov. We have also begun to cultivate a presence on the MySpace and Facebook social networking sites, so you can look us up there as well.